my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what are we going to review this week?
That's what I've been waiting for, how you did that little the bad. I thought it was going to be a real the bad, but very good. Well, Dave, it was my pick, and I thought, you know what? Do a go down the martial arts route. I said to you a few weeks ago, I've got one in my back pocket, and I've had this one for ages, and I'm like, do it, knowing it's a shocker of a movie. But anyway, I've picked it. I thought, fuck it, let's do it. So we're going back to 1983. It stars the legend that is Burt Reynolds, Dave. Lonnie Anderson, his soon-to-be wife, Bubba Smith, Ned Beatty, and directed by his good friend, and the screenplay written by Hal Needham, who did Smoking the Bandit, The Cannonball Run 1 and 2, Hooper, which is one of his best movies. I absolutely love Hooper. This one, Dave, is Stroker Ace. Now, what have you got to say about this, Dave? As in, have you ever seen this before or heard of it?
So I hadn't to either of those questions, and I kind of went through yesterday. I mean, you tip your hand a little bit that, it was a bit of a shocker straight off the bat. But, Chris, I'm thinking, in those early 80s times, you had Smokey and the Bandit, you had, when I'm watching them, obviously the first Smokey was earlier, wasn't it? It was 70s. But, when I'm watching them, I think one of my uncles in particular used to get a lot of these movies. I've mentioned Convoy in the past. So this kind of Southern American car chase type movie, or Convoy was trucks. But anyway, yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, it can't be actually that bad. I mean, it's early 80s, Burt Reynolds, car movie. It's got to be all right. It might be slightly below, Smokey and the Bandit or, Cannonball Run and stuff. But I used to love those movies as a kid. So, and even I didn't love Hooper when we watched it because I'd been watching it for the first time, obviously, in 2024, or was it last year? I can't remember. But I was like, Burt Reynolds is still Burt Reynolds, so he just kind of oozes that charisma around this time. Yeah, Chris, I might not have nailed that one in terms of predictions. How about you?
Well, I think I watched this around, I'd probably say about 87, 88. My old man loved Burt Reynolds movies, the car chases, and that's how we got into Smoking the Bandit, and things like that. And that's, it moved on from that, the Burt Reynolds stuff. As you know, it was Lethal Weapon, Beverly Hills Cop. They were always on the loop. Eddie Murphy, loved Eddie Murphy movies. But Burt is my one film love, Dave, more than anything. And what really finds strange and we'll talk about it obviously in the proper review, is I thought this was his last car movie, but he actually made the Cannonball Run after this. And this has got 3% better rating than Cannonball Run 2, Dave, which I find fucking sacrilege. Because even though the Cannonball Run 2 it's nowhere near as good as the first one, and it doesn't even lick the boots of Smoking the Bandit, I can still watch it. I love it. I absolutely love them movies. This is at 16% on Rotten Tomatoes, whereas Cannonball Run 2 is at fucking 13%. Actually, Dave, I was going to pick Smoking the Bandit 2, but that is another acquired taste one that I don't think you're going to fucking hate it, but that'll be coming at some point. I remember watching it. I remember Lonnie Anderson because as kids, she was one of the first people I'd seen on screen, one of the first ladies who'd had cosmetic surgery, everything, the boobs, the lips, everything. And I remember being like transfixed with it at the time, thinking, God, she's absolutely stunning, because it was like, she was basically like AI, as a female lead, you know what I mean? And I knew that Burt Reynolds had sort of got with her and everything. So yeah, I remember actually quite enjoying it because it felt very similar, very familiar to like Smoking the Bandit. I think it's closer to Smoking the Bandit than anything, and we'll get into that. So yeah, I remember renting it thinking, yeah, it's good. It's not as good as, Smoking the Bandit. However, I've only ever watched it maybe 2 or 3 times, maybe twice since I watched it the first time. So I know it was never a great movie. And then I've tried to go back and watch it over the years, and I'm like, oh my! The last couple of years, I've put it on a few times, thinking I'm going to watch this, and then say to Dave, I've got to pick, and I just couldn't. I couldn't get past the first 10, 15 minutes, but I have this time, Dave. So yeah, I can't wait to hear what you've got to say about. And also, what's even worse, Dave, he got offered the part of In Terms of Endearment movie, which Jack Nicholson got Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars for, and he turned it down for this because he'd made a commitment to it. He actually said this was the movie that met all his fans. He just lost everyone before, even though he made the Cannonball Run 2 afterwards. This was the movie where he got so much backlash for just cashing in on that good old boys, car chase caper stuff, which is what he was renowned for. The joke. It just aged, didn't it, all of a sudden? I think it's very weird with Burt Reynolds because there's a lot of films, when I look back, that around Smoking the Bandit and that, he starred with the same people. Obviously, Hooper was a year after with Sally Field. It was pretty much the same skit that he was doing. He was basically the bandit. The Cannonball Run is the bandit. In this, he's fucking definitely the bandit in this, other than his name. But the actual... there's one that is called Semi Tough with Chris Christopherson, and it's about American football, like a comedy one, and it's fucking shocking, I believe. But there's loads of these movies he was doing. I just think Smoking the Bandit was one of his ones that just hit at the time, and then it just elevated him even more. But he had a 6-year window. I know, like, you had like Longest Yard in early 70s, which is Mean Machine, which is a cracking movie, and then I've got Gator and White Lightning in my back pocket, Dave. But again, Deep South Georgia sort of movies about moonshine and stuff like that, and the Snowman's in that. Jerry Reed, he's actually in the second movie, Gator. But they're very good, gritty Burt Reynolds films. And then when you get to Smoking the Bandit, he just did these sort of comedy skit ones and never recovered after that. And then when we did Stick, was it Stick we did there? Which one we do where he had the wig on? It wasn't Stick. Sharky's Machine we did. Stick's another one I've got in my pocket. But that's when he went, that was around this time. That was actually before this. That was just after Smoking the Bandit 2, when he lost the wig and everything and did his stunts. But then he goes back to this, and it's like, you watch Sharky's Machine, you'd think that was filmed 5 or 6 years after these movies, but it's around this time he was doing these sort of movies as well. It's fucking bizarre. I find him a very bizarre and fascinating actor, Dave, as well, because he can just try and do a serious thing, but then go back to that old, doing the laugh and just being a dick, basically, in his movies. And people bought it for so long. He was the highest paid movie star for years because of this shtick.
And it's bizarre, isn't it, really? Because, like you say, I mean, you love Hooper, but in terms of real commercial box office draw, I mean, I can't imagine that did that well. So you're basically talking more about Smokey and the Bandit and Cannonball Run. Yeah. And the originals as well, not the sequels so much. So, but... we've done a few of the movies now, haven't we? And they are patchy, let's say.
Well, Deliverance was his best, actually, Dave. Probably Deliverance is his most famous with Smoking the Bandit. You're right, actually.
Yeah, you're right. But I guess that probably commercially didn't do as well because I'm assuming it would have been X-rated in the US. It was an 18 over here, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's for fucking hell, synonymous with him, isn't it? And obviously Ned Beatty's in this, but I find him fascinating, Dave. The movies he's done, he's got like reels and reels of movies, but some of them are fucking terrible, fucking awful. And he was up for Superman. He's been up for all sorts of movies around this time. And not Michael Corleone, Sonny Corleone. He nearly played in The Godfather, which James Caan played.
See, all I can think is, at different times, maybe he's sort of flying with Lois and then It's fucking Superman, and then just
With a
breaks the
moustache.
fourth wall and looks into the camera, sort of thing.
Yeah, they think I'm Superman. I am, yeah, and smirks or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wouldn't work, would it?
No, not at all. And especially, we I think our favorite is probably Christopher Reeve, isn't it, as Superman? And we always talk about that scene in Superman 2 where he just transforms, such a great acting performance. I couldn't see Burt Reynolds doing the same sort of thing.
No. Fucking brilliant. So shall we get into the trailer, Dave?
Let's go.
Ever since folks could remember, Stroker Ace hated only one thing: second place. Now, he's the best there is.
Lean out a little bit further, will you? I'm going to make a turn.
And if you don't know why, just ask him.
Just part of the wonderfulness of me.
He's a sporting man.
You either crash or win. And I like that.
A ladies' man.
And of course, it's my job to travel with you to make sure everything is properly arranged.
Just going to get into something comfortable.
A man's man.
Why don't you drive a Clyde Torkel Chicken Pit Special?
And the fastest chicken in the South.
You think it's easy driving with chicken feet? I've done some dumb things in my life, but this is the dumbest.
I want you.
You do?
Yes.
I think it's important that you be here for this. I'll just do that and just put that right off of there. Now you'll be able
Burt Reynolds is Stroker Ace. And it's going to take Ned Beatty, Jim Nabors, Parker Stevenson, Bubba Smith, and Lonnie Anderson to put him in his place.
How's this for spectacular?
Stroker Ace is a popular race car driver from Georgia and 3-time champion in the NASCAR driving series. An all-or-nothing man, he wins if he does not crash. He is arrogant and pompous with no regard for the business side of his racing team. He also has an on-track season-long rivalry with an ambitious young driver, Aubrey James, who drives the number 10 Buick Regal. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opener of this movie?
Well, they've got to say it sounds a lot better than what
It
you
does,
actually
doesn't
said. Let's be honest. Well, Aubrey James, Dave, is the guy out of Baywatch, isn't he, as well, in the 90s? He's Mitch's right-hand man, the guy who plays him.
I recognised him from somewhere. I mean, I could have just clicked through on IMDb, I guess, but I thought he looked like John Travolta, a young John Travolta.
Yeah. He was in a few things, but yeah, I remember from Baywatch more than anything. He was obviously about 10 years after this. So what I don't understand about this movie, doing the trivia, Dave, is Burt Reynolds turned down Smoking the Bandit 3. Hal Needham was not involved either. Originally, it was going to be a feature film. Then, because there wasn't any backers, Burt Reynolds pulled out, and Smoking the Bandit 3 came out in 83, and then he actually does a little cameo at the end. So you've got the snowman, Jerry Reed plays the bandit, but originally Jackie Gleason was supposed to be the bandit. It was supposed to be called Smokey Becomes the Bandit, and it was going to be a television movie after Burt Reynolds fucked it off. Then it went back to being a movie, and they changed the whole script because they'd done loads of scenes with Jackie Gleason dressed up as the bandit, Dave, in the red shirt and the moustache. I don't know how that would. I'd love to have seen how bad that is. However, he turns it down to do this movie with Hal Needham, his best mate. They actually have a NASCAR team because apparently, I didn't notice it, but in the movie, it says Burt Reynolds and Hal Needham racing team because they actually had a team in these races at the time. And he decides to turn down Terms of Endearment, as I said, do this movie, and then plays the bandit all the way through this movie. The same fucking red shirt on. The music is the same. Even the police have got their own Buford T. Justice fucking like the fucking police turn up, and they're doing Cannonball Run. They throw it in there as well. everything about this movie is the Bandit, other than the fact that it's called Stroker Ace. There is nothing. The music, and Jerry Reed doesn't play any of the music, but all the music is Jerry Reed. Jerry Reed was a Snowman. He's a massive session musician. He played the guitar man he was actually a song guitar man that Elvis played, and he ended up doing all the session work for Elvis. But he's top musician. I mean, and they've just ripped off Smoking the Bandit basically in this movie. There is nothing different in his delivery or anything than what he does in this movie. And Dave, I'll be honest, this movie is fucking shit. But the fact that I know you've got to watch it made it elevated it by a few points, knowing that you were fucking getting absolutely tanked up having to watch this fucking abomination.
Yeah, I did have to get a bottle of wine in. I kind of knew where it was going, and it got me through, to be honest. But I'll tell you, let me be positive before I tear it to shreds. When it starts off and you're going back to Stroker Ace as a young kid, and they're really overdoing it, that he's really up himself, isn't he? He's looking into the mirror while they're running away from the cops, or I say running away, driving away from the cops because his dad or whatever's got moonshine in the back. And I actually thought that opening bit was all right. But I recognised the band. I'm like, I'm sure I've heard this before. And sure enough, it's the Charlie Daniels band. And one of my old bands, we used to do Devil Went Down to Georgia. We didn't have a fiddler as such, not that we know of.
Yeah. Well, you say that, Dave.
Different times. But yeah, so it was all done with guitars and stuff. It was absolutely one of my favourite things to play, and I loved it as a kid as well. It was just so different to everything else. So yeah, and they did the whole theme tune, Charlie Daniels Band. So yeah, I thought, you know what? This might not be that bad. But the whole car chase at the start went on for way too long, and I think they just wanted, they had the length of the song that was playing, and I think they just had to put in some car footage to accompany that. But then it goes downhill quite drastically. I mean, you say he's the Bandit, and it is. I mean, you could call this like Smoking the Bandit 2.5 or something, couldn't you, really?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just lacks any of the charm that I mean, you love the Bandit movies. I like them. When we watched it this time, it didn't hold up as well. But certainly as a kid, I loved it. But there's just something missing. I mean, it is so tired. I mean, I don't know if it's the fact that it's a copy that makes it bad. I think they could have still made a good movie, but just the writing is terrible. I feel like Burt Reynolds is just sleepwalking through the movie. And the jokes, like the misogyny, I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. I mean, you mentioned about Lonnie Anderson, obviously playing Pembroke Feeney. And, the first time we see her, you've got her stood on this little raised platform. And Chris, we did like Basic Instinct, where we were saying about the cops being all lechy when Sharon Stone was crossing the legs and stuff. But here, you've got a group of about 20 or 30 guys all stood around Lonnie Anderson, waiting for something to happen. And then her dress blows up. And then you've basically got this crowd of blokes going, fucking cheering and stuff. It's like, all right, was that funny? Was it supposed to be a laugh out loud gag or what? It was a bit weird. But the same group of guys we'd sort of seen Stroker Ace. He got rammed off the NASCAR race by number 10 there, and then he's got his sponsor in the back. And, he doesn't take kindly to how he's being spoken to or whatever. So he puts the cement in the car with him. I mean, almost committing murder, I would think, if that cement hardens. But you get the same again. You get, from nowhere, you get these 20 guys just suddenly appear, all crowded around the car, laughing at this guy being drowned in cement. And it's like, I'm like, fucking hell, where did they come from?
I love this. I fucking love it. Because the thing is, I think what I would say the person who makes the Smoking the Bandit movies is Jackie Gleason as Buford T. Justice. Forget Burt Reynolds in the movie. If he isn't chasing him, his one-liners, everything, he is phenomenal in Smoking the Bandit. In the first one especially. The second one, he's good. He holds it together. The first one, he's brilliant. His character, like fucking one-liners he does, and just with the whole that weird dynamic with his son Junior and all that shit.
Yeah.
He probably is what's missing from this movie, but I agree. Burt Reynolds has just got the guy he's going up against, this Aubrey. He's not really against him, is he? He's an up and comer, but there isn't like that. It's not like Days of Thunder, is it, or anything like that? I mean, it's not like there's a massive race and it's just it falls flat. You're right. Even for me, the gags are not the same. I just find it fascinating that he's wearing the red bandit fucking shirt pretty much for the whole film. He's got the same haircut as the bandit, as he always has. That you can tell, and that wig looks terrible. And in this movie, he's 47 when he did this movie. So you've got Lonnie Anderson, who was like, she was late 20s or whatever. Obviously, they get together and they had a kid and everything. I think they adopted a kid after this, when they got together. But it's just fucking shit. It is so bad. And like you say, the jokes don't hit. I honestly thought this was after Cannonball Run 2, because this is a movie too far even for me. I was like, this is awful. And you're right, like, his jokes don't work. You've got Hightower from Police Academy there, haven't you? I think this is just before he went into Police Academy, Bubba Smith. And Ned Beatty's not convincing at all. He's literally come off the set of Superman 2 and just gone straight into this, and it's fucking shit. And he signs him up to the contract, and he's tied in, so he's got to dress as a fucking chicken. He's doing all his PR stuff. He's going to get sued. He can't. And honestly, the guy who's with him, who's in the Cannonball Run 2, he's actually the private who gets into Burt Reynolds' car when Shirley MacLaine and that is
that's where I recognise him from.
Private, it's not Pyle, is it? That's fucking Full Metal Jacket, whatever he's called.
Private Pyle,
is it? It might be, yeah. It's. I think it is actually. Now you've said that.
But he's got that voice, hasn't he? Like, hey, well, golly,
Yes, yeah. And he's in quite a few Burt Reynolds. Jim Nabbers, he's called. And he's in quite a few Burt Reynolds movies, like over the years. But it's fucking terrible. And the one thing I get satisfaction out of knowing that for an hour and 35 minutes, you are sat there hating every minute of what I've done to you with this movie, because there's no story, is there? There's no story. It's just like a comedy show when you watch them now and they're like, this is fucking shit. But years ago, it just literally needs the canned laughter, I think, at times, because it's awful. It is absolutely awful.
I mean, talk about a paper-thin plot. Basically, you've got a bit of a maverick kind of car driver, signs up to a shitty contract and tries to get out of it. The end.
Who come up with that?
Honestly, I feel like Burt Reynolds and Hal Needham were just like, should we have a bit of a party down south? Yeah, but, we could fucking make a movie and get it all paid for. Let's do it. It feels like that. It feels like a bit of a fucking scam to make this one, because just no one seems to be trying about it. I guess Burt, he got his wife. I guess he traded her in for Sally Fields at some point after this, I'm guessing. But just a real shocker. And I don't know. It's sort of ridiculous. I mean, Ned Beatty, I know he was in Deliverance and stuff, but to me, he's Otis. And I couldn't remember his name last week. I was thinking, it's Superman bloke. But what I find weird is he wants to sponsor him, but he seems intent on his downfall as well. Now, if it's your own company, you're like, I'm going to sign up, so you as a huge Man United fan, I'm going to sign up to sponsor Mo Salah. I'm going to pay him loads of fucking money, but then I'm going to make him run fucking with cement in his shoes or something like that. It seems weird, doesn't it? It's like he's intent on seeing him fail. And the whole thing with having the fastest chicken in the South on his car, You know, it's like it's as if he's trying to take the piss out of him. Like, obviously, he runs a chicken shop and stuff, but I don't know. He just seems intent on seeing Stroker Ace fail.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because he's going against everything. That's his commodity. You're advertising his business, but it's like, but let's destroy the person advertising your business, which anybody who works in PR and marketing would go, well, basically, you're destroying your fucking legacy, your business here. Like you said, it's weird, and it's not like he's caught Stroker Ace slipping his missus one or something, and he's like, fuck it, I don't care. I've got that much money. You know, like Lonnie Anderson, if she was, you know, Miss Pembroke, if she was fucking his missus and he's been lecturing or he's got in bed with her or something, that's fine. There's a bit of a comedy skit. We're going to get you, you know, she likes him and he can see it and he's trying to humiliate him. But it doesn't make any sense, does it? And that's the thing with Hal Needham. He was one, you know, he's renowned as the main stuntman, best stuntman ever. The Fall Guys coming out now with Ryan Gosling got amazing reviews, and Emily Blunt. The Fall Guys series, it was all originally based around Hal Needham. Hal Needham is renowned as the best stuntman ever. That's like the whole thing of Hal Needham, totally understated as, but he is renowned. Burt Reynolds, he was a stuntman. He always knew he was the best one. He's actually the guy who chins Burt Reynolds, Hal Needham, in this movie. You know, when he chins him into the toilet scene when they're fighting and they have the barroom fight. Is it ever a Burt Reynolds film, David, a comedy film without a punch-up of some sorts? You know,
I did think, you know, you've got the obligatory bar fight in there.
Yeah, which as a kid, I always said it when we watched the Cannonball Run and Hooper. I always wanted to be involved in one of them brawls, Dave. But when you're actually involved in them brawls, they're pretty fucking scary. And they don't last like that. You don't stand around laughing and pointing to your mate as someone's trying to fucking knock you out. You just either but the best way is just to get out of Dodge, Dave, at the end of the day and lick your wounds and get out there. But no, I'd always wanted as a kid to be involved in one of them. You know, someone just goes, fight, and you just chin someone for no reason across the table and just start brawling with people. It was never like that in real life. It's quite scary in real life. But yeah, stupid scenes.
They don't tend to have sugar glass that just smashes nicely over your head in real life. It's a bit more dangerous and stuff. But I don't think I found anything funny, but the one tiny, you know, in the corner of my mouth maybe raised a tiny smile. And it was just because it was so obvious, you know, was when the bar fight was just starting up and you've got the guy at the bar and he's sort of like looking on. He's like, oh, great. Should we get involved in the bar fight? And his mate sort of chins him there because you can see he's sort of looking like an excited puppy at this bar fight, and but the mate thinks he's going to take the low hanging fruit, and I'm just going to smack you because you're right here. I thought that was sort of I'm not going to say funny, but it registered a little bit that, you know, it was attempting to be funny there.
I think that's the only scene, though, Dave. And I mean, what did you think of the? And we've watched a couple of movies, like obviously Basic Instinct, the most recent. That whole scene with like Nick and Beth, Michael Douglas. He's basically rapes that woman, which is terrible. But there's a bit in this where it's done for laughs, where obviously Miss Pembroke, she tells him she's a virgin, which is weird because Stroker Ace is like getting an absolute fucking lob on, isn't he? Like even like his mates, like, oh, leave it out. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on there. Like, you know, Stroker's really fucking took the Viagra and everything. He's like, oh, fucking yes, here we go, virgin. Oh, yeah. And he gets her back to the room. She's fucking pissed, isn't she? She's on the bed. And you get that shot above her shoulder where you can see like her boobs and all that. And he's fucking there undoing it. And I'm like, oh, please, Bert, don't do what I think you're going to do. I forgot the move. I thought, he don't take it back. And then it's like, he doesn't. But then we get this weird camera comedy thing where he goes off camera and then comes back again and just say, oh, shudder. And then does it again. And I'm like, it wasn't funny the first time. Hal Needham's directing this, fucking give it up. It just felt like you were saying earlier about Hal Needham, it feels as if Hal Needham and Burt Reynolds have gone together and go, we need to do a mass orgy disguised as a movie. Because I reckon them two were dipping their fucking dicks in Viagra when they were making these movies, Dave. I reckon it'll come out in years to come that there was just fucking all sorts of orgies going on when they made like Smoking the Bandit and everything. It's fucking bizarre.
Yeah, I think the first scene when she says, you know, she's a virgin or whatever, it feels like when it's written on the page and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to have Burt Reynolds here. It's going to be cheeky sexual innuendo, the back and forth, the chemistry between the three of them, because you got Lugs there as well. And it just wasn't. Just everything about it fell flat. And it's like she's saying she's a virgin and I'm single. And again, it's like, well, I don't know if those two things are linked, but it just seemed weird. And then Smoker turns around to Lugs and he's like, oh, what do they call it? And Lugs like, a virgin? It's like, oh, yeah. As if he's like forgot what the kind of word for being a virgin is. And it's just all very fucking weird, really. And you've got Ned Beatty, obviously, he's playing Clyde Torkel.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's lechy as fuck as well. But there's a bit later in the film where he's dressed, he's got a fucking a vest on, his wife beat a vest on, and some massive fucking boxer shorts. And she comes into the room, and she's saying about getting Stroker out of his contract or whatever. And he hides as if he's completely fucking butt naked or something. He suddenly got really shy, but then fucking turns really rapey and fucking rips a strap off her dress, doesn't he?
Yeah, and it's weird, isn't it? Because I'm just looking now as we're talking. She was 37 when they made this movie, Dave.
Oh,
and
wow.
we're supposed to believe that she was this fucking virgin and stuff. It's like, I'm not... I shouldn't say that, I suppose, but it's like, come on. It's not like... They couldn't have done it anyway, because he's 48. If they'd got like a girl who's 20-odd, that would have made more sense or something. But the fact that we've got like... this enhanced Lonnie Anderson character. It just felt like it was Burt Reynolds' way of fucking getting in there and seeing her naked. He's proper lechy. I love Burt Reynolds, them other movies, but this is one of them ones where even I was watching it going, oh, this is the one that fucks your career until Boogie Nights, basically. You were fucked. After this.
I didn't respond to you. So when she's on the bed and he keeps doing the thing, he keeps disappearing off camera and then, reappears and keeps coming back and undresses her a little bit more. I mean, I'm like, fucking hell, we're watching an on-screen assault here.
Yeah.
Even to the point, obviously, we don't think he has sex with her, because she says something like, did we? And he's like, no, nothing happened. And he's like, wouldn't you be able to tell? She's like, no. And he sort of looks regretfully, as if, oh, well, if I fucking knew that, then I would have just had my way with you, no one would have known. I'm like, wrong fucking on so many levels. But even, the fact that he undresses her, she's got, she's got this virginal status and she's an ex sort of school teacher. Or Sunday school teacher, but she's got the frilliest fucking Victoria's Secret bits of underwear on. The fact that he just fucking takes her dress off, I think, is enough. For an assault charge, to be honest. So yeah, it aged horribly, but I don't even think it wasn't even funny. To the point where you're sort of laughing uncomfortably and you're going, fucking hell, that's wrong. I don't even think it would have been funny then.
No. And that's the reason why the reviews are so bad, Dave. I totally agree. Like, it doesn't fit at all. And like, even the premise of like, he starts winning races, doesn't he? Like this whole thing with the chicken guy, like Clyde wanting him to lose. But I don't understand how anybody with a fucking brain didn't sit around that table and go, but surely you need him to win and there has to be jeopardy. What should have happened with this movie if I was doing this again? Maybe we should do Stroker Race 2, Dave, and I'll play the part of Burt, but Stroker. But what should have happened was Aubrey should have been an absolute wanker. And all the skits that were going on were because Aubrey and, say, his mechanic or two henchmen were just trying to completely get at Stroker because he was so much better. Like they do in these movies, you've got the baddie. Or you want to make, basically, what's called, what's the one I said before with Tom Cruise? Days of Thunder. you know, you've got that jeopardy of the other drivers, like a bit of a badass, and he's really good, and he's got to be on. You know, that's what would have made sense. That Aubrey was a complete prick, and all the things that were happening to his car, the sponsorship deal, it was all set up by Aubrey because he wants to win the title, and Clyde was in on it because really he's his fucking dad or Aubrey's dad, or you know, just something a bit more believable because. Aubrey's actually not a bad guy. Throughout the movie, he's doing little things like when they're doing that racing on the trolley, and he throws him through a fucking window.
Through a window, yeah.
He's just like, and Bert's there laughing, and I found that the more I watched it, his character really, Stroker's not a nice guy, really. His character's not that good. But yeah, the plot is bullshit because the idea towards the end that he cannot win the championship, even though he's been winning and doing all these promotional stuff. And obviously, if he does, he has to do it for another 2 years or get sued or whatever, make him bankrupt. But then Clyde strikes a deal with his alleged company. And for the deal to go through, Stroker can't win the race. But surely anybody buying that business would promote the NASCAR fucking racing driver, the championship winner, to sell the business as well. Yeah. That would make back whatever money you've made in the buyout to buy that. The fucking logic, even me, Dave, it's fucking melting my head. Like, how have you even come up and a writing table, round a table? Obviously, Hal Needham's just fucking made it up and give it to Burt Reynolds and gone, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. It doesn't make any sense. Everything about the movie and the plot is working against what logically should have happened. Honestly, Dave, it just doesn't make any sense that he can't win the race because the deal won't go through and he won't release him. It's fucking nonsense.
Yeah. It's just bonkers, isn't it? And like you have other things that don't make sense, like when Bubba Smith is driving Chuck around, and you know he says he thinks I'm going to fire him. Sorry, Chuck. I'm thinking fucking chickens, Clyde. Then BT, and he's saying, you know, he thinks I'm going to fire him, but I'm not going to fire you. And that, you know, you have this slowest car chase, and then you have a car going into the water. It's just, oh, right, brilliant. You could have probably seen that one coming. But yeah, I could not work it out. And I couldn't even imagine, like, why would Clyde want him to lose the race for any reason? You know, so like you say, he's trying to sell the business. So he's saying, you know, if you lose, I'll release you from your contract. If you win, he thinks he's selling his business. So why does win or lose even matter? I don't think it matters. I think it was just something thrown in there to create that bit of conflict and to create, you know, this situation where Stroker's just casually, you know, sauntering around the track at a casual speed. So he's coming last. He's getting lapped almost. But then, you know, Aubrey sort of nudges the back of the car. But then that's it then. It's like, right, I have my fucking spinach. Right, I'm going to fucking, you know, win the race now. You know, I'm going to make up all of that lost time. The fact that I've been driving like Miss Daisy for, you know, most of the race doesn't matter. I can still make up all that time in this championship race that I've been going head to head with this guy all season. It's just fucking nonsense. But yeah, there was no way I could square the circle why Clyde would want to release him, why he'd want him to lose. But then he goes and announces to everyone. I mean, I'm sure legal contracts don't work that way, but goes and announces to everyone in the press room, I think it is, that, you know, he's releasing Stroker Race from his contract. He's not going to be driving for the chicken shop anymore. It's just, yeah, fucking nonsense, Chris.
It's absolutely shit, Dave. It's fucking shit. And like you say, it was all a ruse. Even if it's a ruse, Stroker's still tied in. It was all done by word. It's not like he's got his contract. Obviously, it wouldn't have been digital. He just fucking ripped the contract. It just, fucking. Even I, Dave, I can't even justify this. I just know that you fucking hated it probably more than I did watching this. But and I still, Cannonball Run 2 is miles better than this. I don't care what anybody says. I know there's different people and people slate that movie. And I know you didn't like it when we reviewed it, but it is fucking miles above this. This is just, as a Smoking a Bandit purist, I'll call myself, Dave. You know, I've got all the gear, all the fucking pop thing of signatures, of everything Smoking a Bandit I can think of. This thing's just probably fake, Dave, but it doesn't matter. I'll go with the signed pictures. But I just find this utterly ridiculous that he just didn't do Smoking the Bandit 3 and just played the same part.
Yeah.
And the music, I keep saying everything, it's stupid. Even there's some Cannonball Run music as well in this, and I'm like, you're just ripping everything off here. No wonder fucking people hated it. I mean, someone gave it, I think, a 0 out of 4. I said it last week, and a 1.5. It's at like 13% on 19%, sorry, on Rotten Tomatoes. Not 16, 19. I've got no more to say, Dave. Shall we get into the scores?
Let's go.
So, Dave, I didn't actually do myself like I normally do, you know, where I sort of absolutely like, oh, what have I done? I've done that plenty of times in the last year. I did sort of enjoy it because it felt familiar and it was Burt Reynolds, but it was Burt Reynolds in a tired, terrible fucking plot that made no sense whatsoever. And as we said before we got into the review bit, I don't understand it, and I can usually go with any logic, and I can overlook things in movies if it's like a movie I absolutely love. This is fucking nonsense. It's one of the worst movies I think we've ever covered, Dave, if I'm being honest. So I've got to send it. I can't favour it just because it's Burt Reynolds, even though I know I tries to stitch you up. But I think I'm going to send it to Alderon as well, Dave. It is a shocker
as
of
well.
A movie.
How do you know I'm going to send it there?
Just guessing, Dave. I'm just guessing. But it's absolutely terrible. So yeah, I'd watch it if you really want to, just to be a completionist with what we're talking about. But we've done the Lord's work here, Dave. You don't have to watch it, people. That's all I'll say. It is a terrible movie. So what about yourself?
Yeah, so along with some of the plot contrivances that just make no sense to me, I don't really understand your obsession with Burt Reynolds. Your genuine love, like you say, you got all the memorabilia. It seems to be based around a small number of years in the late 70s and early 80s. But apart from that, he's done some absolute shockers, and this goes into the absolute shocker pile. I think the plot is ridiculously simple. It just honestly makes me feel like the movie was set up for like a little pet project, to just do something, have a bit of a party, a few orgies, like you say, down in Georgia or wherever it's filmed. The jokes, but the most surprising thing is just the charisma. There is no charisma to it at all that we saw with Burt Reynolds in those Cannonball movies, the Smokey and the Bandit movies as well. He just plays this unlikable, lechy fucker, and it's just ridiculous. Ned Beatty playing this, chicken shop mogul. I think it's just ridiculous. I guess he's trying to play the boss hog type character maybe, but like you say, it should have been really Aubrey James who was the baddie, and he just wasn't. He seemed like a young, ambitious driver, and that was the start, middle, and end of it. So yeah, just everything about it was just tired. It was derivative. I just thought it was shit, Chris. I mean, genuinely, this film is fucking shit, to coin your phrase. I'm sorry for the film students if you've got this far and not turned off already, because we'll probably get some 1-star reviews coming through that, well, surely you can do better than that. But no, this film is fucking shit. It's going to Alderon. Never want to see this again.
Well, I've done it. I've fucking got you. Brilliant. To go through the pain, that's what you have to do, Dave. And I'm so happy you've gone to Alderon, knowing that it irritated you. And so I did set myself up with this, Dave, and I know that it's going to be one of them like poison chalices. But what are we doing next week?
You know what? I'm not going to stitch you up, because I think, Chris, we might have a little bit of a Burt Reynolds season type thing going on. So I thought I did have something else in mind, but you know what? I'm going to change it. I am going to go with a Burt Reynolds movie. Now, it did get mentioned a bit earlier in the show. It is a late 90s one, this one. Again, I remember this one coming out in in blockbusters. Lots of young blokes wanting to rent it out, weirdly. This one is the 1997 movie Boogie Nights. Let's get into the trailer.
Everyone's given one special thing, right? Everyone's blessed with one special thing.
Burt Reynolds and all that. He hated it.
On being a star.
Even though he got awards for his portrayal in this. Oh, really?
Eddie Adams from Torrance.
Yep.
Jack Horner, filmmaker. I make exotic pictures.
No way. I remember the girl in the skates, the fluffer day. That's when I realised what a fluffer was.
1977, a kid from nowhere.
Maybe think about
Is that Heather Graham?
My name, yeah.
Something a little pizzazz.
Yeah.
Dirk Diggler. Good name.
I like your name a lot.
Had a dream of getting somewhere.
Jack Horner has found something special in newcomer Dirk Diggler.
So let me just pop in this 8-track, and you just give a listen and tell me what you think, okay?
It was a time when disco was king.
These are the ones. These are great.
Yeah, those are really cool. Are they lizard?
No, they're Italian.
So you like my shoes?
They're pretty cool.
Sex was safe.
Woohoo!
Pleasure was a business.
Cut. Terrific. Nice work.
And business was
I
booming.
fucking bet it was.
And the award for best newcomer goes to Mr. Dirk Diggler.
Wow.
Goodbye, 1979. Hello, 1980.
Are you ready?
But in 1980,
Come on, you puppies.
the
Fuck
party was
There's
over.
loads in here, aren't there?
You're fired.
It's jealousy, it's deceitfulness, it's vindictiveness. But, I mean, God, what can you expect when you're on top?
Oh, wait. Love this part.
Mama told me not to come, Dave. It's a bit weird.
Cinema presents a portrait of 2 decades in the life of a business.
I've only seen this
Days
once.
of a dreamer and the nights in between.
You know, I'm going to shock you now. I've not actually seen it all the way through.
Boogie Nights.
And yeah.
Nope.
Wow. You need to watch the end bit, Dave.
I seem to remember I had a lot on with my university work, but also was a bit skint. So I was doing lots of shifts at Blockbusters. So I've mentioned before, like you got loads of free rentals. So I remember getting it out, but then putting it on and then just falling asleep. And I just think, oh fuck it, I've got to take it back, and then just didn't have time to rewatch it. So, and then it's one of those that where over time in my head, like I've almost heard other people talking about it, and so it feels like I have watched it, but yeah, not actually watched it. And watching that trailer now has just solidified it for me. Yeah, definitely not seen this. I have seen that scene with Heather Graham in the roller skates. I do remember that bit. Weirdly, is
that where you fell asleep?
I think so. That's how fucking tired I was. But yeah, so I'm intrigued, Chris, how this one is going to go.
Good stuff. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know. So brilliant stuff, Dave. Completely different. But we go with Burt again, so I'm happy with that. If you want to email us, vhsstrikesback@gmail.com. We follow us on social media at vhsstrikesback. Please drop us a review on the show if you get a chance, guys. We do appreciate it. Are there any Stroke Race fans out there? Tell us. We do appreciate it. Dave, we are nearly at 50,000 views on No Retreat, No Surrender Free. A lot of people are not getting along and don't obviously read title of movies when it says the VHS Strikes Back, No Retreat, No Surrender Free. Watch along, Dave, because apparently we talk too much and laugh too much over the movie. But if our South American friends are going to keep watching it, Dave, then so be it. So the race 50,000 is on.
You know what I think it probably is? Again, we've no idea how this thing. How do you get a YouTube video to really kind of get caught by the algorithms and promote it up the ranks there? But I think if you type No Retreat, No Surrender 3, we do appear quite high in the top there. But I saw the last comment last week. Someone was like something, oh yeah, I've got this on DVD, but oh my god, the commentary's so annoying and stuff. And I'm thinking, so you actually have the DVD, but you'll hate watching the whole movie. You're literally like, oh, I wish these guys had stopped speaking. Just get the fucking DVD out then. It's just, I was puzzled by that one, but
brilliant.
Absolutely fucking brilliant.
I fucking love it, Dave. Absolutely love it. But no, really good. If you do want to support us, please get over to patreon.com/the VHS Strikes Back. So the roll call of honor and a massive thank you to Mr. Mike Burton, Lee, Helen, Dylan, Stephen, Trent, Dan, Justin, Susan, Timothy, Matt, Kent, Lucky Lula Green, Herbs, Jacks, Math, Blake, John Hammond, and Mr. Tony Farina. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support, and everyone who supported us past and present. We really appreciate it. So now, Dave, I don't even know what to do here because usually I throw you under the bus and I'm looking at some of the quotes and the fucking shit. But all I'll say to you is, Dave, I'm going to send us out with this one. And this is when there is the bar fight. And I think this is quite appropriate about this movie. So the man at the bar says, "Come on, damn it. We want to hear a cluck." And Stroker simply says, "Who gives a cluck, Dave?" And that's exactly how we all felt about this movie. Goodbye.
Well, Chris, I do have another surprise for you. So, obviously, last week we were being a bit silly with putting together the lyrics and the arrangement for the Basic Instinct song. And I thought, I'm going to do the same again here. And also, I was thinking when our Patreon picks come through, you know, I'll reach out to whoever's picked the movie and just see what kind of song genre they're into and stuff, and so we'll put together a little song for that. So I'd attached it as well to the Robot Jocks, but obviously we didn't discuss it at all. You haven't heard this one, so I thought I would introduce you to basically Stroker Ace dressed as a chicken.
It's quite appropriate, Dave, with what's going on as well. Burt Reynolds. You can't see me, but I'm dancing.
Again, this trying to capture that kind of Charlie Daniels sort of feel as well. I remember with Devil Went Down to Georgia, the bass line's very much like this, you know.
Yeah. Very good. Very good.
Easy feels like Otis runs the chicken pit, and he's hired Pembroke Feeney. He's tied Ace up on a giant contract that he got him to sign legally. Pembroke Feeney is a virgin and her sister's dead.
That was it as well.
But Stroker Ace is only focused on getting her into bed.
Do you want to do some line dancing here? Just get my cowboy hat on.
Number 10 is the villain, and his name is Aubrey James.
He's not really
He wants to be number one, and he's into playing games.
Lyrics are mint, Dave. Done well,
Stroker
eh?
Ace dressed as a chicken, and he needs to cluck. Smoker Ace dressed as a chicken doesn't give a fuck.
Like the audience.
Yeah. It was from Burt Reynolds as well.
This is so good.
Smoker Ace gets Pembroke and Feeney drunk and really horny. She passes out and his conduct is a little thorny.
To say the least.
Devil went down to Georgia, he was looking for a soul to steal. Devil, if you give me the time back, I'm willing to make a deal.
Fucking brilliant. This is so good. How the hell puts his music together? And the guy's voice as well, it's scary, this, you know.
Oh, it's good. Yeah. I genuinely would line dance to this song, Chris.
Oh, I'd want to get chased by Buford T. Justice on this one there. I want to get car chased in a Trans Am. Definitely something you'd see in a movie where the police are chasing like the main star with a, you know, like with this playing and the star just like laughing and everything, but no talking, just fucking dicking around. I can imagine Burt Reynolds doing it.
Smoker Ace got out of his contract with the chicken shop. But the bandit couldn't help this movie
Oh, the
being a
bandit.
massive flop.
Nice, Dave. Nice. I'll give you that. You've scored
Hal
higher now.
Needham thought this film would be a hit. But sorry, Hal, I'm afraid this film is fucking shit. Smoker Ray's dressed as a chicken and he needs a cluck. Smoker Ray's dressed as a chicken, doesn't give a fuck.
This is fucking brilliant. I need to up my game here. You're producing fucking magic. That is brilliant. It's fucking shit. That is a great line. Oh, Dave, how good is that?
I obviously give my hand away right at the end there, which is why I couldn't send it through to you before. So thank you very much, sir. Thanks for indulging me there. Thanks to all our listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters. And we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back.
That's not.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off. Get to the chopper! One ring to go. All right. Ding, ding. Bust you up. Go for it. Well, here we go. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid fool. Maybe you crazy something. I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I've seen you in 6 months. I must break you.